Welcome to The Explainer. In this one, we're diving into a really fascinating spiritual philosophy, one that lays out this grand, almost cosmic destiny for an entire nation.
So, what if a whole nation was destined to be a beacon for the world, but something went wrong? The source material we're digging into today presents exactly that scenario. It talks about a cosmic mission for the Korean people, a mission that it claims has kind of stalled out. So, let's get into it. This idea of a nation of stars whose lights have just gone out.
Okay, so here's the core concept. The people of Korea are referred to as Chunseon, which means heavenly descendants. And according to this philosophy, they're born with this one single, really profound purpose, to become stars, actual guiding lights for the rest of the world. And this isn't something that's supposed to happen in just one lifetime. No, the source material describes it more like a generational relay race. It unfolds across three distinct groups, three eras. Each generation has its own part to play, building on what the last one did, all leading up to this final, brilliant moment of illumination for the entire planet. And check this out. The source actually lays out this whole celestial hierarchy. It starts with the baby boomers, who are called the great stars. Then they're meant to pass the torch to Generation X, the younger stars. But, and this is the key part, the final ultimate mission falls to the new stars. That's today's digital generation. They're the ones who are supposed to finally flip the switch and light up the world. But here's the thing. Becoming a star isn't a given. It's not automatic. The source frames it as a really fundamental choice, a fork in the road. You've got two paths guided by two totally opposite spirits. One leads to light and, well, the other leads straight into darkness. So, that path of light, that's the path of the Jungbub. It's a term for righteous spirits. And what does that mean? It means these are the people who choose a public life. They dedicate their energy not to what they can get for themselves, but for the good of society, for everyone. That's how they generate their light. It comes from serving others.
And this slide really lays out the core conflict, doesn't it? It's super clear. If you choose that public life, you become a Jangdo-ryang, and that's what unlocks wisdom and lets your light shine. But the other path, the path of the Sado-ryang, that's all about private life, focusing only on yourself. And according to this philosophy, that road leads to one place, greed and darkness. It's literally presented as the path of a devil versus the path of an angel. So, okay, this brings us to the big problem, right? The central issue that the source really digs into. If this current generation, these new stars, are supposed to be lighting everything up, why is it so dark? Where's the light? Well, the answer, it seems, points back to the generations that came before them. Yeah, the source doesn't pull any punches here. It places the blame, or at least the responsibility, squarely on the older generations. The argument is that, sure, the baby boomers and Gen X gave the new generation tons of knowledge and skills. They made them smart. But what they didn't give them was true character education. They didn't teach them how to use all that brainpower for the public good. And look at the consequence of that. It's created this huge paradox. You have what the source calls the smartest generation on the planet, but they're channeling all that brilliance into their own personal ambitions. That inward focus, that selfishness, has effectively switched off their light. It's made the stars, as the text says, gamgamhae, which means completely, utterly dark. Wow. The smartest people in the world, if they all live for their own greed, the world collapses. That really drives home how serious this is, right? The source is saying this isn't just about some missed spiritual opportunity. No, this is a potential catastrophe. The idea that the world's brightest minds, all driven by self-interest, could actually be the ones to tear it all down. Okay, so if the problem is a bunch of brilliant people all focused on themselves, what's the solution? Well, logically, it has to be a complete 180. A huge collective pivot outward, away from self and toward a life of public service. And the source lays out a pretty clear 4-step path to get there. First, you have to just stop thinking about what you can get for yourself. Then, you start asking a different question. What can we do for our society? It's that simple shift from private to public that supposedly unlocks real wisdom. And that wisdom, that's what lets you see the world clearly. That's what emits the light. And what's really interesting is that this mission isn't just for people living on the Korean peninsula. Nope. The source makes a point to call on the entire Korean diaspora, people living all over the world. They're urged to become stars right where they are, in their host nations, to work for the good of those societies and fulfill their destiny on a truly global scale.
So, what happens if they pull it off? What if this huge shift from private to public life actually happens? Well, this is where it gets really big. The speaker lays out this incredible, almost prophetic vision for the entire world, and the Korean peninsula is right at the center of it all. And this vision kicks off with a claim that is, well, it's pretty dramatic. The source straight up says that the Korean peninsula isn't just some random piece of land on the map. It's a sacred, famous location from ancient texts that's been hidden from the world, right in plain sight. Get this. The speaker declares, this is the Garden of Eden. The Korean peninsula is the original Eden. And you might be asking, well, how has nobody noticed? According to the source, it's because its people, its stars, hadn't lit the way yet. Their light was out, so the garden remained hidden from the rest of the world. And this is where it all culminates. This is the ultimate prophecy. The idea is that when the stars of Korea finally shine, they'll become the light of the East. And that light will be a beacon. People who've had divine revelations, like the Jewish people, as mentioned in the text, will be drawn to it. They'll realize this is the Eden they've been looking for. And once they find it, the world's other peoples will follow, and all of this will kick off a brand new era of global peace. So there you have it. The source presents this incredible choice, not just for a nation, but for the world. A path of private ambition versus one of public light. It's a fascinating framework for destiny and personal responsibility. And it leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. What does it truly mean to shine?